Hold on to your mug. We're in for a wild night.
I don't know how the hell they would know.
Yes, the phone lines could be compromised. That's what I'm saying. You have to be.
Hey guys, welcome to the Hack Existence tutorial on assembling the Freak Me badge from DEF CON 32. So by the end of this video, I'll show you guys how to take the badge kit. We'll assemble all of the different components onto the board. And basically what this thing does is historically accurate tones from phone systems throughout history. So this will basically let you hear what vintage phone systems sounded like from all over the world. So let's jump into the bill of materials. Okay, so this is our bill of materials. We're going to start with the bottom board here, and in case you can't tell, these were manufactured by PCBWay. So these guys were awesome to work with. They were super responsive, walked us through the whole process. They expedited the shipping so we could get them here on time to get to you guys at the conference. So we're going to start with this bottom board, and the first thing we're going to solder on is the resistor. It's going to go into R1 here. I'm just going to bend it over and put the two legs through the holes. Push it down so it's nice and flat on that board, and we'll fold the tails back over, solder those on, and cut the excess. Alright, so now that we've got our resistor all soldered on, the next step is going to be to solder on the
and displaying reckless driving behavior. Following a traffic stop, when the officer approached the vehicle, they detected a pronounced smell of alcohol emanating from inside. Additionally, it was observed that the driver had red lipstick noticeably smeared across her face.
How we doing?
Good.
Good?
A lighter.
Why would I have a lighter?
You're an officer.
Okay, so why are we speeding?
What?
Have we had anything to drink today?
No.
No.
Our ex just left us. He's actually like en route.
Huh?
Our ex-boyfriend.
Okay. Your ex?
Kind of.
So how much have we had to drink today?
Nothing.
Nothing. So why are we speeding? I'm doing 45 and you're coming up on me like I'm standing still in a 35-mile-an-hour zone. You have your ID on you?
Of course I do. Do you want my passport or which one do you want? No attitude. No, I'm being honest. You want to call Katie? You want me to call Kevin? Or Tammy?
4113, cool.
No, excuse me. Pardon me. I'm calling Diane Quinn. Actually,
I don't care who you're calling. Come on.
Found it. Don't touch my phone.
I'm gonna yank it out and I'm gonna yank you out if you don't come out on your own.
Just don't give me a phone. Touch my shit.
Let's go.
Record him. Record him. I got it.
This side. She's refusing to come out.
refusing anything.
Give me the cigarette.
No, I want to smoke a cigarette. I'm fine. I'm actually a
All
little
right, put the
bit
cigarette
upset.
down.
Can I please?
No, put the
Get a
cigarette down.
lighter,
Listen to him.
please?
Come on. Come on.
Please.
Man, we need to listen to him.
Please.
Let's go.
Please.
All right, watch out.
Please.
Over here.
We're gonna close the doors. Listen, ma'am, we're going over here. All right, go with that. I'm gonna stay here. Come on. Let's go. Come on.
It's like fucking Chicago, except Chicago.
Right above here
people
for
get
me.
Shot. Actually, cops get shot, which sucks.
All right, so have we had anything to drink today?
No.
No? So why are you slurring?
Why am I slurring? Because my boyfriend actually jumped out of the car about 20 miles back. So if I'm a little bit upset, and I'm also in school for nursing,
41,
and I'm
13, switching to.
homeschooling a child at the time, and my ex took 3 of my kids to Chicago. maybe
41,
that's
13,
why
out
I'm
to
slurring.
Florida deal.
Good for you. Go ahead, you can actually verify all of that. You want help?
No, I'm aware.
No, you're good. Passport, Illinois. Floyd cards actually in my condo. Ex-boyfriend never jumped out of the car. We might have been golden.
All right, do me a favor, take your hat off for me.
You want?
All right, come on up over here so we're out of the road. All right, so like I told you when I drove up, you drove up on me like I was standing still. Talking to you inside the car, you got slurred speech.
I don't have slurred speech. You have to understand
Okay.
everything that I've been through, and 3 of my kids are in Chicago because my ex took them, and we have therapy. We actually have therapy.
Okay, well I'm not here for that.
You know what?
Have we had anything
no
to drink?
No worries. That's not your fucking problem.
Nope, it's
I
not.
get it.
So do me a favor, go ahead and put your hands at your sides.
Do you want me to do a freaking backflip? I'll do that for you.
All right, so with your eyes and eyes only, what you can do is you're gonna keep an eye on this blue light. All right, so hands at your sides.
It's not even gonna happen.
So how much have we had to drink tonight?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Actually, I have my prescription with my contacts if you want to
Good.
go check it out. Because that's actually a written doctor's note. So if you want to sit there, we can play that game.
All right, so where are we coming from?
Where am I coming from? My aunt's house in Key West. She's a doctor.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and play this game. All right, so based on your driving pattern, well, not really, I didn't know that driving pattern, but just based on your, okay, well, good. I don't care about your boyfriend right now.
It doesn't
Based on
matter
your
because you're not
slurred
listening
speech,
to
I'm
anything.
thinking
You
you're
think
under
I'm
the
fighting with you? I
influence
don't
of
wanna fight
alcohol.
with you.
Good. I think you're under the influence of alcohol. Do you want to participate in field sobriety exercises?
No, I don't have to. Sorry, Chicago
Okay.
taught me better.
So she is the registered owner, not valid, she's tagged, and a business purposes only. So she's coming from her aunt's house, she's not in business. Okay,
Can you just
no I
please-
cannot. This is, you wanted to play this game, so let's play. How much have we had to drink tonight?
Nothing.
Oh.
Do you want to take care of people that are robbing people,
There are people that are driving drunk on my roads.
shooting up houses out here, robbing people? You want to take care of those people?
I'm taking care of people that are driving crazy right now.
Making up your own story at this point.
Okay. So do you want to participate in field sobriety exercises?
I asked you for a lighter. I would have cooperated with you. You have no idea what the hell.
Okay, I'm not here for what's going on.
Last 25 minutes, you want to sit there and say I've been drinking? I will sit there and do handstands.
I don't care about your
in
handstands.
front
Do
of
you want to do field sobriety exercises?
I
Yes or
can
no?
do a field sobriety that you can't even fucking pass.
Okay, so do you want to do field sobriety exercises? Yes or no?
What do you want me to do?
It's a yes or no answer.
What do you want me to do?
Yes or no answer.
Answer my question.
No, you answer mine. That's not how this game works.
No, sir, that's not how it works.
Yes, that is exactly how this works. It's a yes or no answer. Do you wish to participate in field sobriety exercises?
I'm gonna call my grandpa.
So, yes or no?
Yes or no? Do you want me to do back then?
The victorious hero seemed undefeated.
I'm sorry, if somebody's drunk, can you do that? Probably not, right?
So, yes or no?
Call my grandpa right now.
So, yes or no?
Please.
Yes or no? All right, Aaron. So, just based off your coming up on me, you know, like I was standing still, your slurred speech, I believe you're under the influence of alcohol. Okay.
It's a lot of other shit going
Really?
on. Like,
Your ex was an axe.
Like 3 of my kids are in Chicago.
All right. So just like we did before, what you can do is you can stand with your feet together, your hands at your sides. All right. So with your right index finger, it's going to be this finger right here. You're going to touch the top of this light. Touch the top of the light. All right, put your hand back down. Okay, the feet together and your hands at your sides. You're gonna follow this light that you just touched with your index finger. And without moving your head. Do you understand? All right, put your hand back down. All right, it's with your eyes and your eyes only. Do not move your head. Follow this light with your eyes and your eyes only. Do you understand?
Surely the hero would be an honorable ruler.
Keep your head still.
That's not just going to
Hands at your feet together, hands at your sides.
do a backflip. I can do that.
Stand right there, just like I told you. Put the left foot on the line, your right foot in front.
Yeah, but you know what? Your tests don't even measure.
Okay, so do not start until I tell you. Do you understand?
Should we do black rock training camp?
All right. Are you ready for me to begin? Okay, so right back to where you were with your left foot on the line, your right foot in front of it. When I tell you, you're going to take 9 heel-to-toe steps. You're going to go all the way down. You're going to count up to 9. When you get down to your 9th step, you're going to take your lead foot.
Can you do me a favor? Just listen. Just stop what you're doing and listen.
Being very verbal and what you want. What do you
I'll
want?
fix my taker.
Why don't you actually show me what you want, and I will do that.
All right, come here. I got an easier one for you.
No.
Yes, yes, yes.
What you want? I'm not resisting. Roxanne! I told you to show me what you want.
4113. You want to rest for a deal.
Trusted their leader, and that
Do you have any
gave them
guns, knives,
strength.
hand grenades, explosives, and incendiary devices on you?
No, I got a black.
You have a gun in the seat? You just said you did.
I got a black in my face.
Oh. Yes, that's-
Actually from Sergeant. White men, but
yeah, that's what I was.
no, go ahead.
Do you have any drugs on you?
Nope.
Alright, so this is what I'm going to tell you. If you have any drugs or any illegal substances on you, but when we get to where we're going, if you have anything, it's going to be an introduction of contraband. Do you understand?
Honestly, I'm leaving this house. I hate
Despite multiple attempts by the deputy to give instructions, the suspect consistently disregarded them and kept
Perhaps
walking
you
the
will
line.
learn something from
This led to the
story.
discontinuation of the field sobriety test and her subsequent arrest for DUI. Following her arrest, she was transported to the Key West DUI room, where she declined to submit a breath sample. A review of her criminal record uncovered a prior DUI arrest. She was subsequently sentenced to 12 months of probation.
Party's here.
favor.
The mighty warband trusted
House on
their
that?
leader, and that
Go through.
gave them strength.
Being fixed as we speak. Okay, let's fix this. Apologies for the delayed start, my friends. Standing by. Coming soon to a locals near you. We're warming the tubes up. It's Friday, Tube Nation. All right, let's see if that works. Come on, locals. Come on, locals. We're waiting for the tubes. What's up? I see YouTube's working. What's up, Tony Haymarkets? Good to see everybody. How's the Friday going? Let's see. There it goes. Okay, now locals is working. That's tremendous news. Now we can go ahead and get started. So, what the heck were we talking about?
For now.
It's working. There was a clog in the tubes. We'll fix that. So, we have some business to attend to. On the docket today, my friends, Jack Smith is scrambling around. We know Judge Chutkan was racing in overtime to get the January 6th case back on the docket so that they could get Trump tried in D.C. before the election came about. But now Jack Smith, I think, is having a hard time reconciling the Supreme Court decision with his indictment, because the Supreme Court decision says there's at least a presumption of immunity for presidential conduct, stuff arguably within the outer perimeter of presidential duties. And Jack Smith talked a lot about that in his indictment. So big problems for him. Now he's scrambling. He's asking for more time. Judge Chutkan just came out today, is granting him more time. And John Bolton, I've got a clip of him. Trump's commenting about the Supreme Court and other things. And so all of that is what we'll be talking about starting out. Then we're going to jump into Smartmatic. You may have seen this, but the Department of Justice, you know Smartmatic, you may remember them from 2020 when we spent a lot of time talking about how that election was rigged. Well, they're one of the companies that was in the news a lot, and now their CEO has been indicted by the DOJ for bribery charges. Whew, so we're going to talk about that, and we're going to try to do our best not to get sued for $1 billion, hopefully. Let's see if we can avoid that, ideally. That'd be good, because I don't have it. So we're going to talk about it because the DOJ did release a press release on this, and what a great X-thread that came out from this guy called J. Michael Waller, at J. Michael Waller, just like it's sounds, X, put together a great thread about Roger Alejandro Piñate Martinez. He is apparently the president, CEO, something of Smartmatic, indicted. Yikes. All right, so we'll talk about it. Then, in our final segment, Arizona is submitting an emergency appeal. Let's say the Republican Party of Arizona, the Arizona GOP, RNC rather, has submitted an emergency appeal to the Supreme Court of the United States, and it's a very interesting one because there's a lot of information back and forth about illegal aliens voting in our elections, and everybody on the left, no, they would never get a form. No way, that's not possible. They could ever theoretically even possibly vote illegally in an election in America. It's like, come on. You want to put some money on that? Would you put your house on that? No,
lost the
there's not
battle,
gonna be any illegals
but
voting.
not the war.
Put your car on it. Let's see put your money where your mouth is. I put my car on it that they will be voting illegally. So this is now Arizona Senate Republicans who are filing suit with for an application for an emergency state with the United States Supreme Court. We're going to read through it because it's going to parse through a bunch of the details about how this is all working and how the shenanigans are in effect. So we got 3 good things to get to today, 3 great segments. It's a beautiful Friday. I hope your week was incredible and you accomplished every single thing you set your mind to, and you did it with tremendous execution. So we're grateful to have you here. We also had a great members-only stream this morning. If you missed that, we go live 6 days a week. We do Saturday streams for our members, also on Locals and on YouTube. And we had a great stream this morning where we were talking about all sorts of the other political news that we can't get to here. We cover it in the morning, and we have a lot of fun. Little smaller streams. We kind of let our hair down a little bit. Great community, great people. And they're a ton of fun, so come check it out. WatchingTheWatchers.locals.com or become a member over on the YouTubes. And so, without any further ado, my friends, let's get into it because we've got business to attend to. Starting with Jack Smith scrambling around trying to figure out what to do about the immunity ruling from the Supreme Court. Might result in his indictment having catastrophic problems. It means the entire case might go bye-bye for him. And so we're going to go through what we see here is a joint status report from the government. So this is from Jack Smith. You can see down here. It's also signed by Trump's people because, of course, they're not going to oppose this ever at all. They've been demanding, in fact, extensions of time, and now we're going to see Jack Smith is scrambling asking for an extension. So they're going to say, yeah, sure, take all time you want. We've been asking for it since the beginning, but okay. You remember Molly Gaston? We haven't heard from her in some time. The highlighter gal. She was very excited about her discovery. You know, there's like 8 million, 13 million, 15 million pages of documents. More than Walmart versus Visa, which took about 7 years to litigate. About 13 million pages in this case. They're going to take about, they wanted about 7 months to litigate, really. And now they got a delay. So Molly, the highlighter girl, she's like, no, we only 13 million pages. I highlighted the appropriate locations for that.
Only in defeat, only hero.
We don't care about your sticky notes, Molly. Thanks, though. So she's a prosecutor. She's there with the rest of the prosecutors over there. And they're submitting this. Now, this is so curious because it just got dropped on 8/8. And remember, the case just came back down to Judge Chutkan. So the Supreme Court had it. They kicked it back down. She's like, all right. Now, Chutkan, this entire time since the case was up on appeal, everything should have been stayed, right? There should have been nothing happening really from her perspective at all. The case is paused. Trump is immune from the process of being prosecuted. That's what immunity means. It doesn't mean that Trump still has to deal with all of this stuff, right? And he's like having an army just build up against him to unleash the floodgates against him if and when she does get the case back. It's supposed to just be kind of just, hey, pause everything, let the Supreme Court decide, not supposed to come back in bad faith to you, Judge Chutkan. But that's exactly what happened. She came back. As soon as she got the case, she's like dropping motions all over the place. Denied, denied, denied. We're like, Chutkan, you were writing those opinions before you got your document back, right? Like the court didn't have jurisdiction. You got the order. Okay, now you have jurisdiction. Now you can start working on this case again because now it's back to you. That's not what happened, okay? She was, in her coffee shop, like writing whatever. And then as soon as she got it, she's like, oh, look what I just happened to finish. All these opinions. Just drops them all out. Okay, Judge. So you kind of started the race before we fired the gun to go, right? You kind of were cheating a little bit there. All right, that's fine. But you're allowed to get away with it. But she was now trying to accelerate it. Let's go fast, really quickly. And then suddenly, Jack is like, what? Why are we going so fast? I don't know what to do here. I'm Jack Smith. I'm not even a real boy. In the district court for the District of Columbia, see this motion. It's a joint status report. And the government's unopposed motion for an extension of time. Yeah. I thought you were ready like now. Why do you need a delay? Oh, man. On August 3rd, the court issued an order from Judge Chutkan, right? She got the case back like that day. She's like, I can't wait to see everybody back here. She's like, I'll see you here tomorrow, right? Said it immediately. Ordering a status conference being scheduled on August 16th.
For now.
And directed the parties to confer and to file by August 9th, that's today, a joint status report that proposes a schedule for pretrial proceedings moving forward. Right, so she already scheduled a court date for next week. Like, get your booties in here. We're going to talk about it and schedule it. Now, the parties have conferred, so the prosecutors have met with Trump's team. Now, the government, Jack, who's not even a real boy, continues to assess the new precedent set forth last month in the Supreme Court decision in Trump's immunity case. Huh? You continue to assess it, Jack? It's like you're not ready? Oh. See, this is more what you would actually expect. Like, actually, this is kind of what we would expect, right? Jack was not supposed to be working on this case at all, actually. So it should take a lot of time. Now, the fact that he is not playing catch, right, with Chutkin is what's so embarrassing about this. Because she just set him up. She's like, bro, okay, it's on a tee, okay? It's T-ball. I'm not even going to pitch it to you. It's a T-ball. Just here. Here's the ball. Just come up here. Just hit it. Okay, like 5-year-olds do it, so just hit it. Jack's like, I don't know.
Lived happily forever
I don't know about that, Judge. I think I need some more time. So the left is just furious about this, okay? Now, it's the right thing, actually. Jack shouldn't have even touched this case. We know that he was working on this case. So the idea that he wasn't, the idea that he was like, well, I can't work on this case because, you know, it's a pending appeal. I don't buy that for a second. He was working furiously on it. He just got bit. They're idiot lawyers. And so this came back down like, holy crap, Trump's immune. Our indictment is totally ridiculous because it has always been ridiculous. Now they're just totally scrambled. So they say, all right, including through consultation with other DOJ components. Saying a special counsel such as Chuck comply with the rules and practices of the DOJ, and we must consult with other appropriate officers within the department for guidance and with respect to established practices, policies, and procedures. Now, although those consultations are underway, the government has not finalized its position on the most appropriate schedule for the parties to brief issues related to the decision. The government therefore respectfully requests additional time to provide the court with an informed proposal regarding the schedule for pretrial proceedings moving forward. Jack is floundering. Whoa. The defense does not object to the government's request for an extension, obviously. So Trump's people have been asking for an extension forever. Forever. Now you'll notice in this motion, we're going to hear from John Bolton in a minute, but he's going to explain, well, no, this is because of department policies and that they can't prosecute people in the run-up in the months leading up to an election, which is all total hogwash. Okay, the DOJ doesn't follow their own policies. Well, they'll cover up for Hunter. They'll warn his defense attorneys, stall any prosecutions happening there. But with Trump, no, in fact, they timed it so the trials would happen in the middle of the election year. All of them, until Trump's defense started to notch victories. So the defense never would object to an objection here. I'm sorry, to an extension here. And if Jack were complying with some departmental policy, like they're not going to have a trial or something within 60 days of an election or 120 days or 6 months or whatever, right? They just make it up. It doesn't really matter. Originally, it's like, well, we don't, when they're talking about Hunter, it's like, well, we don't investigate. We don't, oh, you don't even investigate during an election year? No, not even investigate. Or something leading up to an year. And then the rules all change. Well, no, it's like we don't, for Trump, it's like, well, we don't schedule trials, but we can do everything else. And we only don't schedule trials if it's within 30 days of the election. You're like, that's our policy. Like, well, that's very different than not investigating, right? Because to get to a trial, you got to investigate, you got to indict, you got to do all the things to lead up to the trial, the pretrial conferences, and then the trial. So what is the standard? Nobody knows. It just is whatever suits them best. So Trump is saying, yeah, push it out, man. We don't care, idiots. We'll take it all the way up till the, you know, to the end of the, past the election. And I forgot, I have to stop saying idiot so much. I had dinner with Mama last night. She said, no. Not good to call names. It's true. So accordingly, the government requests the court enter an order requiring the parties to submit another joint status report by Friday, August 30th. And continuing the scheduled status conference until a convenient day thereafter. No. So, Judge accepted that August 16th is not a good day. Not a good day. So we need more time. Now, the government is available any day after August 30th. And the defense is unavailable on September 6th, which is a hell of a day. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on here on 706. I think another hearing, there's a sentencing
Perhaps
settlement
you will
conference or
learn
something with
from this story.
Mercan. It's going to be busy that week. And so that's why they're unavailable.
Often
And they're unavailable the week of
extraordinary
September
things
16th,
are
which is the
accomplished
sentencing.
by
Okay, so those are the two New
ordinary
York
means.
dates. So respectfully submitted by Molly, John Lauro, and Todd Blanche. And so Jack is in trouble. Why, oh why, is he not ready? And so here's some other reaction. There's people like this guy, you know him, Norm Eisen. He's just a mental case on with whatever news agencies he's on. He's all over the place, CNN, all the things. Kind of a TDS maniac. But he says, look, respectfully, I think Jack Smith request for additional time to figure out a position is a mistake.
Important job.
Yeah, well, what's he gonna do? This case is trash, and he's not even a real boy. Now, most of the case survives, as we explain in our report, color-coded indictment. The red is out. Okay, so this is his analysis, but the rest is certainly or likely in. Okay, so that's just his analysis of the indictment. Okay, so from a leftoid, here's what he's saying. This is the indictment. All of the red is out. Oops, that's a full page. That's a full page. That's a full page. Just goes on and on and on. Now the other stuff, the orange, maybe the yellows are questionable, and maybe the greens stay in. Not a lot of green in there. Jack Smith's indictment is crap, just like his career and his fake existence as a prosecutor stealing money from all of us. Now, here's what Trump said. He says, look, it is clear that the Supreme Court's historic decision on immunity demands and requires a complete and total dismissal of all the witch hunts. The January 6 hoax in Washington, D.C., the case we're talking about, the Manhattan DA's zombie case, the New York AG Tish's scam, fake claims about a woman I never met with a 40-year-old photo in a lineup with her husband doesn't count. That's Eugene Perils. Bergdorf got Bergdorf and addressed it in Bergdorf's. And Georgia's perfect phone call. Now, the Democrat Justice Department coordinated all of these political attacks, which are an election interference conspiracy against crazy Kamala Harris and crooked Joe Biden's political opponent, me. Now, let's come together and end the weaponization of our justice system and make America great again. Now, just to show you what they're talking about over here, here is Bolton on with CNN. It's just fake what they're saying. He's talking about that it's about DOJ policy, that they can't go and prosecute him before the 2024 election. It's like, hello? Chutkan has specifically said that she would do that. On record. She'll hold a trial in August, September. She didn't give a crap. John?
Ambassador John Bolton is here. It's great to have you. Ambassador, when you hear this, what do you read into Jack Smith asking for more time from the judge to kind of sort through this when he's actually typically been the one pushing to get this case in trial in court faster?
Okay, listen to this quote.
Well, I think it's less Jack Smith than it is dealing with the rest of the Justice Department on two levels. First, I think this question of timing and what can be done or not be done pursuant to Justice Department policy before an election is going to take some time to resolve, because there's never been a case like this. It's another piece of uncharted territory.
Yeah, of course, because there's no precedent for it, because you guys shattered 234 years of precedent to have somebody who a federal judge found is not even a legitimate special counsel at all, who misappropriated $24 million, is in charge.
Of how much they're actually going to be able to do in September, October. But I think the other issue is the Supreme Court decision on immunity is an extraordinarily broad decision, and it's wrong in many respects, in my view. One respect in which it's wrong is that it's too simplistic in its assessment of how the executive branch works. And I think within the Justice Department, you have a lot of components that have responsibility for protecting the executive branch, but also prosecuting criminals. And before Jack Smith plunges ahead with whatever his view of how to interpret that immunity decision is, the rest of the department has to come to agreement. And I think there's probably a lot of discussion, and that's a big cause of the delay.
Okay, so he basically said nothing. Like they didn't talk. They'll have to talk about different things and prosecuting how this impacts other cases. This is a special counsel. They've already been racing this case to trial. The fact that Jack Smith is backpedaling right now means their case is not good. He's scrambling to try to figure out what to do about it. And even Norm Eisen's color-coded indictment analysis shows huge swaths of this case, at least in red or yellow. Not good. Certainly or likely in. I don't think so. That's a good take there. The case, as John Bolton said, is very broad. And the community decision wrecks everything. That's why Jack Smith is scrambling. We're not going to have another court date until a bit later because Judge Chetkin has agreed to move this. And what did I do with the court listener docket?
Did anybody actually think the Borderlands movie was going to be good or a success? Anyone? We could all tell, I mean, by the casting alone, but even furthermore, the fact that the trailer we saw, so unfunny, it looked like a giant mess. It wasn't gonna really appease the fans that much, and the fact that the casting was just atrocious and not really accurate with the characters, and even trying to appeal to a broader audience, it just looks not good. So let's dive into why this has failed so much on many, many levels. I mean, also the fact that it came so late when Borderlands is not at the peak of its relevancy right now. So just odd timing on top of all of that. So right now on Rotten Tomatoes, Borderlands is sitting at a 6%. Mind you, it was at a 0% with the critic reviews earlier yesterday morning, and then it jumped up to, I want to say 6% whenever, because it had one positive tomato review. They don't like my ad block. So enable ads. Anyway, so it was at a 7% for a little bit. User reviews were at over a 50%, but then they've dropped to 48% now because, I mean, let's be real, it looks terrible. So even Business Insider wrote an article about how a video game adaptation starring 2 Oscar winners became the year's biggest flop. That's the thing, is it doesn't matter what kind of star power you have. If that star isn't suited for the role, then it's not going to work. I love Cate Blanchett. I think she's great, but she is not suited for Lilith. Not unless they fast forwarded the series and set this in a time period that was that far off. And they aged up all the characters. I don't know why you would do that necessarily, but I don't know. Anyway, the way that it was presented, it definitely doesn't work, especially with your target audience. Who is your target audience for a Borderlands movie? They're going to be mostly young people, people in their early 20s, maybe even some teenagers. So that's who mostly you're gonna expect who would want to watch something like this video game adaptation. So whenever you've got a cast of multiple older people and you have Kevin Hart who's not suiting his role at all, I'm just not sure how it makes sense. So let's see what they said about it. So it's based on a beloved video game, yes, starring 2 Oscar winners. It should have been an easy win for a movie studio, but it's doing terrible. Yeah, that's the thing though. It would have been an easy win if they actually were trying to make things a lot more accurate in terms of casting with the characters and stuff. Story, making it funny. It could have been. And if the timing of it, if it
Once upon a time, in a battle-scarred land.
But if a state has election laws in place and an election is coming up, the status quo principle is saying that courts cannot remove those laws. Okay, look, an election is around the corner. It's like, hey, the game is starting in like 10 minutes. You can't change the rules 10 minutes before the game starts. Otherwise, no one's going to know how to play the game. So Purcell is saying, we don't want voters to be confused by changing the rules at the last minute. And so, why are you changing the rules? Why are you stopping a state that's already passed laws from enforcing the law? It says state officials want to protect their election. But the Ninth Circuit here turned this principle against the enforcement of state election integrity laws. So Arizona passes all these things, stopping illegal aliens from voting. We have an election coming up. There's rules in place. The Ninth Circuit says, no, can't do that. Hey, the status quo Purcell principle says you can't do that. It says, as a general interest, there is a status quo.
the tide of evil was
and that we have an interest in a status quo, including a status quo where the district court has enjoined state election law. Now, a divided panel overturned a stay unanimously granted by another panel just days before. So then there's an injunction. Okay, so a lower level court says, Arizona, you can't have your illegal alien laws. Then there's a stay on the order saying you can't do that. So you, in other words, you can do it. Ninth Circuit says, okay, you know what? The people who said you can't enforce the law, they're stayed. Sorry. Then another panel reverses them. What? The majority says a divided panel overturned a stay that was unanimously granted by another panel just days before. So one panel says the laws can go into effect, and then they get reversed immediately. The majority revived a district court injunction, so the lower level court said that Arizona laws that require registrants to prove their citizenship using this form cannot be used. But the Purcell status quo says when a lower court intervenes and alters the election rules, the appellate court must correct that error, even if it doesn't want to do it. Like, it's the rules. You don't get to change the rules at the last minute. But as this judge noted in the dissent, when they reversed us, they abandoned regularity. It led to this peculiar result where two judges prevailed over four who had voted to stay the order. The four judges who voted for the partial stay to stop the stopping of the enforcement, the panel majority found that the Arizona registration law could not be enforced. And this is going to get wild because of a consent decree. Okay, this is just kind of an introductory letter to Judge Kagan. Then we're going to get into the meat and potatoes. So this is where it just gets even more wild. So there's a consent decree. It's a private agreement between a single executive office, which in this case is going to be the Secretary of State, years before the Arizona legislature even enacted this law. Now, the Ninth Circuit also refused to stay the injunction. And this is an unprecedented abrogation of Arizona and our legislature's sovereign authority. We need relief immediately. We have to print ballots, Judge Kagan, by soon, like now. We got until August 22nd. That deadline to resolve any of this ballot stuff is August 22nd. This emergency application also concerns the form and the printing deadline of ballots. And you guys just reversed us. Like, you just changed the rules that were already in existence. The Purcell principle says status quo needs to be maintained, even if you don't like it, because the rules can't change at the last minute. They change them at the last minute anyways. Now, it's trying to implement its prohibition on voting in presidential elections by individuals who've not provided documentary proof of citizenship. So Arizona must either not print the presidential candidates on the federal-only ballots, or it must configure its tabulation machines not to count the presidential votes on federal-only ballots. And so, accordingly, we need an immediate stay of this injunction, to the extent that the courts are requiring Arizona to accept state form voter registration applications lacking proof of citizenship, right? The courts are going to force Arizona to accept these voters and to allow voters who have not provided proof of citizenship to cast ballots for president or by mail. Arizona created laws. We need to see citizenship. And if we don't have it, you don't get to vote for president and you don't get to vote by mail. All was in place until the courts reversed. Now, the court has jurisdiction over this, and here's the statement for the Supreme Court about why this stays. Background. Since 2004, Arizona has required newly registered voters to provide documentary proof of citizenship. Now, this court, Supreme Court of the United States that we're in, held that the National Voter Registration Act, a federal law under U.S. Code, preempted that requirement. Okay? Supremacy Clause of the Constitution says that the federal law supersedes and is supreme over Arizona law. So if there's a conflict, feds win. It preempted that requirement as applied to individuals using the federal form from the Elections Commission. So federal law created a form. Arizona says that your form doesn't include a checkbox for citizenship. And so we're going to add a checkbox essentially for citizenship. Then the court said, no, you can't do that, okay, because our form is the final word. But it did say that state-developed registration forms may require information that the federal form does not. So there's a National Voter Registration Act if they're using the federal form to register to vote in federal elections, okay? But the states can create their own state-developed forms. You can't change our form, but you can create your own forms. So then, after that case came down, Arizona has registered federal form registrants who do not supply citizenship as federal-only voters, okay? If you don't have citizenship, you just get this. You don't get to vote in Arizona elections. So go vote in the federal election. Who are eligible to vote only in federal races, right? So Arizona changed the system a bit. State form applicants must still provide documentary proof of citizenship. Okay, now continue. So then, we have these two forms, federal-only voters, federal-only races, or these two buckets, and applicants must still provide documentary proof of citizenship if they're voting in state races. So then, after 2020, when Arizona was rigged, in 2022, Arizona enacted several reforms to its voter registration laws. Two aspects of this legislation are relevant. First, this law requires election officials to reject any state form application that is not accompanied by proof of citizenship. So there's a new requirement. You're going to vote here, Arizona registration form, Arizona. If you don't have citizenship, it's gone. And second, it provides that voters who have not provided documentary proof of citizenship may not vote for president or by mail. So you don't get mail-in ballots. We're not giving you all of that stuff. If you want to get a mail-in ballot, show us you're a citizen. We're happy to pay for the postage to get it out to you. So then, right, that makes sense. These are safety mechanisms to say you just don't get a ballot unless you prove your citizenship. You just don't get a ballot. You don't get to register. Now, the United States, the government, and various private plaintiffs, the Latinx organization, the Asian American, whatever, Jamaican, whatever, all the things.
The hero fought their way to the top.
Adam, if you are seeing this, can you please come home to your family? They really do miss you. And if anybody knows where Adam is, please contact the Ontario County Sheriffs so this way the family can know how he is and that he's okay.
This is 31-year-old Rose Chase. As alluded to during this news clip, Rose's husband and high school sweetheart, Adam, had been missing for about 6 weeks before this video was shot. For most, her strange behavior can be felt within the first few moments, as her eye direction shifts all around the room, seeking affirmation from those surrounding her. And she constantly refers to their family as his family, or as she put it, your family instead of our family.
Can you please come home to your family?
She does this again by stating how much they miss him instead of we.
They really do miss you.
If there is one thing to take note of as we dive deeper into this video, it's that Rose is a horrible liar. Let's now start at the beginning. On June 14th, 2012, in a home located at 2215 Mott Road in Ontario County, New York, a 31-year-old man named Adam Chase and his wife Rose both stayed home from work as they needed time to work on their marriage following a very serious disagreement. During that evening, Adam stopped replying to texts and phone calls from his friends and family. His lack of response continues into the following day, and his mother becomes increasingly concerned. Adam's mother then calls Rose and asks if she knows where Adam is. Rose replies that she and Adam had gotten into an argument, which started to get physical. Adam had accused her of cheating on him and then stormed out of the house on foot. He didn't take his phone, wallet, or vehicle with him and said to Rose on his way out that she will never see him again. Rose also explained that she had felt that Adam was bluffing and that he would obviously come back later that evening, since the two have a 4-year-old son together named Tristan. Adam's mom, Sylvia, found this narrative quite strange and immediately called the police to report Adam missing. She tells the police that in the week before Adam went missing, she was sent a picture of Rose cheating on Adam with another man. She confronted Rose about this picture, and Rose denied having the affair, stating that the man in the picture was just a friend, a gay friend. When Rose wouldn't own up to it, Sylvia then sent the picture to her son Adam just 2 days before he went missing, on June 12th. The day after filing the report, on June 16, 2012, 2 investigators followed up by visiting the home of Adam and Rose. Rose answered the door, and the 2 officers briefly interviewed her regarding the argument and Adam's potential whereabouts. Rose tells these officers the same story that she told to Adam's mom, but this time with slightly more information. She now says that Adam had approached her regarding the picture that he was given of Rose cheating with this other man named Mark, as the 2 sat on a bench at a nearby park. Rose confirmed that she was in fact having an affair, and that it was Adam's fault, as all he would ever do was play video games and watch TV, neglecting their relationship and not giving her enough attention. During this argument, Adam brought up his concern regarding whether or not their son was biologically his. Rose then told Adam that she was confident that it was not his son. So Adam became enraged, punched a hole in the wall, and stormed out. She repeated that Adam left on his own. He did not bring any belongings with him, and that he said that she would never see him again. Although quite suspicious, investigators chalked this up as no marriage is perfect, and continued on their way. They returned to the house 2 days later, on June 18th. This time, they brought a cadaver dog with them. They asked Rose if they could search the premises, and Rose reluctantly agreed. They walked through the main floor and the upstairs bedrooms, taking note of how messy and unorganized the home appeared to be. There was a different smell emanating from each room, but the worst smell of all came from the basement. The cadaver dog also seemed to signal that it believed something was downstairs. As they enter the basement, Rose explains that the putrid smell was coming from dead rats that constantly break in, eat rat poison, and die throughout the basement. She also stated that there were several bags of rotting garbage stacked up down there that were definitely contributing to the smell. The officers walk through the basement and do in fact see a massive pile of garbage, as well as several different dead and decomposing rodents. They do not spend long, but they are inclined to believe that Rose's claims regarding the smell are accurate. They then leave and thank Rose for her cooperation. The next day, on June 19, 2012, Adam's mother and father both received the same identical text message from Adam.
Chase's sisters say there were 2 texts on June 19th, one to each of their parents.
It said, staying with a friend in Canandaigua, need time to think.
After receiving these messages, Sylvia immediately places a call to Adam's phone, which is quickly forwarded to voicemail. They both felt that this message was strange and not sent by Adam. Investigators quickly determined that these messages were sent from the city of Canandaigua, but when police responded to the area where the messages came from, Adam was nowhere in sight. Over the following 5 months, search efforts ramped up, and Adam's family continued to contact news stations with the hopes of locating their missing son.
Ontario County Sheriff's deputies are asking for your help tonight, finding a missing man. They say 31-year-old Adam Chase went missing on June 14th.
Adam, if you can hear this, you have a place to come home to. Call me, email me, whichever. Just come home. That's it.
Rose would attend these news interviews and press conferences with the rest of the family. However, she always appeared uninterested, or just plain over it. It was also around the time of this particular press conference that Rose stated that the man that she was seen kissing in the photograph was now her new full-time boyfriend. He had even moved into the house where Rose and Adam had lived. This did not go unnoticed, and Adam's family became even more determined to link his disappearance to Rose, as they all felt that she had become distant and was not putting any energy into helping locate him. So in November of 2012, they went on to hire a family friend and private investigator named Rodney G. Miller to help with the case. Rodney's first course of action was to speak directly with Rose. So in mid-November, he visits Rose at home and introduces himself. He asks if she has any information that could possibly help him. And she seems withdrawn, while replying that she told investigators everything that she knows. Rodney then asks if he can walk through the house. Rose agrees, and Rodney walks through the entire home, also noticing how filthy it really was. In the basement, he also notices the distinct odor of decomposition. Rose tells him the exact same story about the dead rats and old garbage. Rodney reluctantly believes her story and then leaves the house. On his way out of the house, he walked past a living room where a TV was turned on. He sees that Rose's boyfriend was relaxing on the couch and watching TV, seemingly very comfortable. Rodney then warns Rose that if Adam were to ever return home to that man living in his house, He won't be very happy, and it could even lead to violence between the two men. Rose then replies that she was done with Adam. She did not want him back, even if he did come home. She was sick of him. Rodney found this response quite strange, but continued on his way out of the house. As he returned to his car, he felt certain that Rose was far more involved in Adam's disappearance than she has been saying she is. He contacts Adam's parents and tells them that he's fairly confident that this should not be a missing persons case. Instead, that he believes that a homicide has taken place. Over the following weeks, Rodney hatches a plan. He was determined to corner Rose into admitting that more had happened to Adam than she was leading on. So he locates Rose's usual babysitter named Sandy and asks her to help him out. She agrees, and they discuss the plan. Shortly after speaking with Rodney, Sandy was then contacted by Rose on December 12th, and Rose had asked if Sandy could take her son Tristan for the night. Sandy says no problem, and so Rose drops off her son for the night. She returns the next morning, on December 13th, to pick him up. When she arrives, Sandy tells her that she had heard that the police had made a breakthrough in Adam's case and were planning to make an arrest sometime over the next 48 hours. Apparently, Rose immediately started to shake and her skin turned extremely pale. She then said that she needed to go. As soon as Rose drove off, Sandy called Rodney and told him, "This is the time, go now." So Rodney drove straight to Rose's home and approached her as she was entering the house. He informed her that he had built a strong enough case against her that he believes that she will be charged with murder over the next 48 hours. He says that he may be able to help her as long as she tells him where she buried Adam's body. He also stated that he knows that she had the body in the house based on the way it smelled when he walked through it. Rose replied, "I didn't bury it. I burned it." She then explained that Adam's body had been in her basement for several weeks and had heavily decomposed. She then loaded him into the car piece by piece and drove his remains to her mother's property on Haggerty Road in Potter, Gates County. She had actually transported these remains with their 4-year-old son in the vehicle. Rodney Miller then immediately contacted the police and informed them of this breakthrough. The police rushed to the Haggerty Road property and located several bones scattered throughout the burn pit. Rose was quickly apprehended and transported back to the Ontario County Police Station, where she took part in an interview. The first thing that investigators wanted to know is where Adam's body was when they walked through the home with the cadaver dog.
So when we were in there the night that we came over, me and Investigator Durgan, where are the babies?
I told you the light wouldn't work. I had skids along the wall,
from this story.
and he was underneath all that stuff that was in that corner.
Okay. All right. How'd you get in there?
I dragged him.
By yourself? And he's a pretty big guy. And, you know, when somebody can't move, it's hard to move them.
It was very difficult.
Okay.
I'll admit it was difficult.
They then asked Rose to explain what actually happened to Adam that caused his death.
The day that he called into work, is that when this happened?
Yes.
Okay. Well, what happened?
Him and I called into work so this way we could work things out.
Okay.
He went back to sleep after he called up his boss.
Okay.
I tried waking him up. It took me a while, but he finally got up. He went upstairs to grab a smoke. Then I started to go on the computer, and I thought we were going to talk about this. Started arguing again about the fact that Mark kissed me. And I go, yes, it was only a kiss. And he goes, well, you told me last night that we're going to get a DNA test done on Tristan. I told him then, no need, Tristan's not yours. He got furious, punched the wall. I did all this stuff.
Investigators were accompanied, became convinced that everyone around her would immediately believe that she was a murderer, so she took every step that she could think of to remain in control of herself, while having no regard for human life. When Adam's family saw through her lies and began to believe that Rose did in fact murder their son, she acted resentfully and took whatever steps she could negate their beliefs. During all of this, one thing that investigators could confirm was that Rose did in fact go to extremes in order to dispose of her husband's body.
When you were taking him out of the house, did you cut him up or anything? Did you need any tools or anything? Or
no.
Because if you did, where would those be?
He just fell apart.
Okay. Alright. How long have you been there?
Been there 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay.
Following this interview, Rose was charged with second-degree murder, tampering with evidence, and endangering the welfare of a child.
Maybe still have something to reach for. Star Wars Outlaws, or as some have coined it, Man Solo, is releasing this one.
Excuse me, it's man. It is man.
The way IGN has had exclusive updates on this absolutely mammoth game. One of the first IGN videos focused on the, and I quote, first open-world Star Wars game.
The back-to-back successes with both The Division and The Division 2.
Understand the value of victory.
The Division trailers promised one thing and delivered another. Like meeting a girl on Hinge and finding out that she uses filters religiously, to the point of where she no longer really realizes what she looks like. That was The Division. And The Division 2, I didn't even finish the demo. That's how tired of the game I was. Frankly, if this game is going to mirror The Division, it will be a buggy piece of shit that will overpromise and underdeliver. It's a theme here, really. The first IGN coverage is what you'd expect, a 21-minute snow job, while staring at character models that look plastic and lifeless. If this is next-gen gaming, it looks like it's 2 generations old. Outlaw is about as open world as Starfield, but it'll probably be smaller and more linear. The first 10 minutes of the gameplay trailer, first look, starts off with a bang. When I first saw this video on Twitter, the explosion was rendered so poorly that I thought people were like making memes and using AI to, you know, make fake clips of this game. But it turns out that this is actually real. It really looks this bad.
Holy hell.
Developers actually looked at this clip and they were like, but literally this game has already gone gold. What we see here is most likely what we're gonna see day one. Until they patch it, because that's all these companies do.
We're going in next. You award the crown, but others plan to take it.
Okay, that's 1 mouth down. You good, buddy?
The Sarlacc pit's mouth is just a generic cave now. Wow. Oh, it's dead. That's supposed to make it make sense. The writing for the mission is so formulaic Star Wars tropes. Oh, Jawa wants something. While you're away, they're ready to strip your ship or droid. Haven't seen that plot line before a million times in Star Wars. Didn't they recently just do that with The Mandalorian like a year ago? When the lead character chick escapes the pit, someone throws a thermal detonator at her. And she survives without a single scratch. It's a thermal detonator.
The mighty Jabba asked why 50,000. Because he's holding a thermal detonator.
I don't know why everybody's freaking out. Thermal detonators just make you jump really high.
And then someone just steals the tooth and a chase ensues. Why the f would they want a Sarlacc tooth?
How does it feel to have lived long enough to see all of your favorite franchises go down in flames?
I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine.
Oh wait, the guy who wrote The Division and some other trash Far Cry games that have really stupid outlandish stories wrote this. So, it makes sense, it's on brand.
Tavari is well aware of, having written for Far Cry 4, 5 and 6, as well as The Division.
Next up, we got a sneaky mission that shows off just how trash the NPC AI is in this game.
All this for a tooth.
None of the NPCs notice the explosion or know where it is when it literally goes off directly next to them.
This 64 in that it's pretty fast and arcadey and maneuverable.
In F.A. Hayek's Fatal Conceit, he drops an absolute bombshell of a quote on us, and I think it applies to far more things than economics. It goes as follows: the curious task of economics is to teach men how little they really know about what they think they can design. And a perfect example of this is this philosophy that we're not going to fight out lawsuits that has been taken up by almost everyone, including the New York City Legal Corporation, because it's just cheaper to do so. It's just cheaper that way, and honestly, you don't have to worry about it because you're going to save money, because all these people who, by the way, were never conservative with your tax dollars ever, tell you that this is the more conservative option. Now, we've seen this philosophy of it not being worth it play out in many different areas in New York City. For instance, people will say it's not worth it to stop somebody, arrest them for jumping the turnstiles because the train only really costs $3, and the fact of the matter is you'll spend way more time and way more money actually holding that person in jail than you would if you just let them jump the turnstiles. But what this doesn't take into account is the fact that human beings respond to incentives and disincentives. One person being arrested or a few people being arrested at the train station for jumping the turnstiles could lead to thousands of people paying for the train, and on net, guess what? You would be a beneficiary of that. Fighting back against fraudulent lawsuits at the citywide level might cost you more than any individual settlement, but guess what? That might deter people from filing lawsuits so frivolously. Well, guess what? Because this is the philosophy that we are governed by in New York City, the criminals have taken notice. And now, New York City has surpassed all other places in the nation in terms of fraudulent slip and fall claims. And by the way, when they're committed in front of private properties, buildings, they end up resulting in rent increases for everyone in the building because according to New York City law, you are responsible for the sidewalk that is in front of your property. So we're gonna break this down. I'm gonna show you some absolutely comedic videos, and then I'm gonna explain to you how it's no laughing matter. But first, I wanna thank everybody who supports this video. So believe me, I will be commenting on that later, but damn, this is not even close to a legitimate looking fall in any of these videos.
On owners, and owners try to offset the extra expense by charging tenants more.
What is that? Seriously, what the hell was that? This guy didn't even appear.
During the early hours of April 21st, 2012, in the city of Tucson, Arizona, a 6-year-old girl named Isabel Celis went missing from her Midtown home. The incident happened as the family slept. The house remained silent. After searching the house that morning, Isabel's brother promptly reported Isabel missing.
911, what is the emergency?
Hey, I need you guys to calm down. My sister's gone. Someone broke in and grabbed her. Hurry, man.
Okay, what is your name?
Sergio Sergi.
Who else is there?
My dad, just people are looking.
Okay.
Just hurry, man.
We are on their way, okay? How old are you, Sergio?
14 going on 50.
Okay, anything else that you know of? Do you know what she's wearing?
She's probably wearing pajamas.
Do you know what color?
Pink, maybe green, I don't know.
Did you guys hear anything?
No. I don't know, man.
Their mighty warband trusted their leader, and that gave them strength.
Isabel Mercedes.
Later that same morning, during another 911 call, Isabel's father, who was also named Sergio, tells the dispatcher.
We woke up this morning, I went to go get her up for her baseball game, and she's gone. I woke up my sons. We looked everywhere in the house, and my oldest son noticed that her window was wide open and the screen was laying in the backyard. We've looked all around the house. My sons are running around the house looking for her.
The screen was on the ground outside?
Isabel's disappearance spawned a massive search in Tucson by approximately 250 law enforcement personnel and included national media attention and the public scrutiny of her parents. FBI experts and tracking methods were used during the investigation, and detectives followed up on more than 2,200 leads in the case, 1 year and 8 months after Isabel's disappearance. During the early hours of New Year's Day in 2014, a man named Michael Dwayne Leday was having a very loud and intimidating argument with his then-girlfriend Cindy Burnett. The argument began while they were walking on the 2200 block of East Summerlin Vista, near East 36th Street and South Maple Avenue. As the argument escalated, a man named Patrick Belbastro and his girlfriend Valerie Colon were driving through the South Side neighborhood when they saw Michael Leday assaulting Cindy Irving. Patrick called 911 and told the dispatchers that he was going to help the woman. When he got out of the car, Michael Leday attacked him. Patrick's girlfriend Valerie also got out of the vehicle to intervene. Michael stopped attacking Patrick, but he then got into Patrick's car and ran over Patrick, Cindy, and Valerie multiple times before fleeing the scene. After running over the 3 victims, Michael sped off in Patrick's car. He ditched it in the desert after hitting a tree and then fled on foot. He was then finally located in Kansas City, Missouri, and was captured after an intense 30-minute foot pursuit through heavily wooded areas and creek beds that involved more than 40 law enforcement officers.
The new year got off to a deadly start in Tucson.
Next to me, all I remember was the arm stretched out.
That night. You did. I did not, Bill. You did. I'm sorry. You did. You're thinking too hard. You got your mind just spinning going, I'm trying to get out of this. What do I say to these guys? We've got so many people sitting in that chair, okay, that think that they're smarter than us, and you're not. No. Okay? Dumb as a brick. No, you're not dumb as a brick, okay? You made a mistake. You fucked up. You did. You fucked up, and now you got to pay for it.
Let's take this in baby steps, all right? Let's try to make this as simple as possible. Where did you get the shotgun from?
The only one I have is locked up in my dad's gun safe, and I don't even know where the keys are for it.
Man, I'm trying to help you piece this together, because we already know the truth, man. The truth is, you got a gun. Right or wrong?
Right.
And you took that gun back to your Uncle Willie and Aunt
Once
Charlie's
upon a
house,
time,
right?
in a battle-scarred land.
Right or wrong? Come on, man.
Right.
And you fired a shot. That's your Uncle Wayne.
Right.
And what happened next? I want you to tell me.
Don't remember.
You don't remember. But you got pretty close to Aunt Charlie, didn't you?
Right, I guess. I don't know.
And you fired a shot to shut her up. Is that right? I need you to say it out loud, buddy.
Yes, sir.
All right. You started to say it. Come on. Let it go.
Then I pulled that trigger and...
These weren't the only things that the detectives knowingly dismissed. Early on, a gold ring was found at the crime scene with the names Corey and Ryan engraved on the outside. The ring did not belong to anybody in the family, and that was the full extent that law enforcement looked into it. However, going against the grain was one particular member of the homicide unit who noticed a model number engraved on the inside of the ring, beginning with AAJ. They tracked this model number to the company that made it, A&A Jewelers, the day before they were shutting down their business due to bankruptcy. There were 2 locations that distributed across the entire United States to various sellers, such as Gordon's, Zales, and Walmart. After looking through thousands of documents and making about 70 phone calls, they found the Walmart it was distributed to, 8 hours away from the crime in Wisconsin. It turns out that it was a custom order by a woman named Corey who had bought the ring for her boyfriend, Ryan. When the detectives spoke to the couple, Ryan said that the ring was in his red Dodge pickup truck that was stolen 2 days before the murders, along with some money and a 12-gauge shotgun with ammunition. Law enforcement was able to hunt down the couple who had stolen the truck, Greg Fester and Jessica Reed, who were 19 and 17 years old. They were in Wisconsin, but they had actually taken the truck on a multi-day joyride down south to Louisiana, passing through Nebraska on the way, before returning home. The truck was seized for examination. The police found Mr. and Mrs. Stokes' DNA all over the vehicle. They were also able to collect DNA off of Greg and Jessica and matched it to the DNA found on a marijuana.
The tide of evil was pushed back for now.
Welcome back to Headlines. I'm Wes Austin, and these are today's top stories. A new poll found former President Trump and Kamala Harris in a dead heat in 7 critical battleground states. The survey was conducted by Ipsos in the 7 key swing states of Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Georgia, North Carolina, Arizona, and Nevada. In these 7 states, Harris received 42% of the vote, Trump was at 40%, and Robert F. Kennedy was at 5%. Ipsos did state that the results were well within the margin of error. According to the poll, inflation and immigration were the most pressing issues in voters' minds. If inflation and immigration are the top issues, and Harris is still tied with Trump, and maybe these voters think, who better to fix the problems than those that created them? You know, like hiring an arsonist to put out a fire. Or maybe those 42% for Harris just really like paying double for everything. Harris responded to the poll results by laughing nervously for 45 seconds straight and then changing the subject to her childhood love of school buses. The pollsters said that they didn't have enough time to effectively survey the impact of Tim Walz being on Kamala's ticket. Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota and apparently an active Navy SEAL who is a member of SEAL Team 6, or at least that's what he said at his last press conference. On Thursday, Governor Gavin Newsom was spotted doing something rare for a politician, actually doing some manual labor. Okay, he was pretending to do manual labor. He was apparently cleaning up a homeless encampment under a section of a freeway in California. Is President Xi Jinping visiting again? California has approximately 180,000 homeless people, which is about 1/3 of the nation's total homelessness population. Homelessness is a huge issue in California. If there was only someone in charge of the entire state who could do something about it. This is 2 weeks after Newsom issued an executive order telling state agencies to clean up the thousands of tents that are lining the freeways, parking lots, and cluttering city parks. The order was issued after the U.S. Supreme Court permitted cities to enforce bans on sleeping outside in public spaces. It's nice that they got some footage of Newsom pretending to clean things up. What would have made things a little better is if he would have been able to have a press conference on location. Well, you're in luck because he just happened to bring a podium with him.
Cities can do their part, but the state's unprecedented billions and billions of dollars support, I'm not interested in providing that support and not seeing the results. I'm a taxpayer, not just the governor.
The homeless crisis in California is out of control. It's almost like the guy in charge has been busy staging photo ops instead of fixing the problem. Who would have thought that the answer to homelessness involved a PR team and a well-orchestrated cleanup scene? That's a wrap. Vice President Kamala Harris has been facing criticism for not holding a press conference or interview since becoming the Democratic presidential candidate. Former President Trump recently held a lengthy news conference, and then Harris took less than 2 minutes on a Michigan tarmac. Finally, after 18 days with no press conference, Kamala took some questions.
There's been a lot of questions about when you're going to sit down for your first interview since being the nominee. Do you have any update on that?
I've talked to my team. I want us to get an interview scheduled before the end of the month.
They've got 2 minutes where she'll talk, and the question they ask her is why she isn't taking more questions. Okay, they've got time for one more. This one will be a real question about something important. Inflation, immigration, the border.
Are you open to more debate?
I am happy to have that conversation no matter if it's today or after.
That was it. That was the 2 minutes of press in 18 days for Kamala. And they spent those 2 minutes talking about why they haven't been talking and when they might be talking. Much more important than, you know, actually talking. Who needs to hear a candidate talk about where they stand on the issues before an election? It's so much more fun to be surprised, isn't it? Kamala, looking forward to your upcoming press conference where you will explain why you haven't had one yet and why you should schedule one soon. In her pursuit to boldly pursue equity, Delta's chief DEI officer has decided that the phrase, ladies and gentlemen, isn't inclusive enough. Because, you know, addressing passengers as ladies and gentlemen is the real problem here, not the fact that Delta's planes occasionally play a game of, guess what just fell off? I know what you're thinking. Hasn't Delta really had parts literally fall off of their planes while in flight? Yes, they have. So it seems like their money would be better spent on maintenance and safety and, you know, keeping the planes together while they're flying, and maybe less money on DEI. Well, that's where you're wrong. Who needs safe and well-maintained aircraft when you can have inclusive gate announcements? Having your plane fall apart might be somewhat traumatic, but you know what's even more traumatic? Calling a woman a lady. Thanks for watching Headlines. I'm Wes Austin.
And how much have you had to drink tonight?
Nothing. Nothing.
Okay. So I'm gonna be.
I don't drink.
You don't drink?
No.
You don't drink at all?
No. I don't drink at all.
Okay. So what's this smell that I was getting when you got out of the car?
Oh, I don't know, but I don't drink at all.
You don't drink at all?
No.
Okay. All right. You're gonna
Okay.
keep your legs. You're gonna keep your legs out. Okay. All right. You're gonna keep your feet together.
Okay.
All right. Can you keep your feet more together?
I haven't drank in I don't know how long.
The hero would be an honorable ruler.
There's the alcohol. Ma'am. You okay?
That's fine. I'm waiting for my dog to get up.
So you get groomed and everything? Okay, you alright?
Good.
Okay, did you hit this? The fence.
What, did I hit the fence?
Yeah, did you hit the fence over here?
No, I didn't think I did.
Yeah, I mean, you tapped it. You gave it a little love tap.
Perhaps
Did I
you
give
will
a
learn
love tap?
something from this
No, I
story.
didn't think I did.
Okay.
No, I'm waiting for, waiting for, the dog to get groomed.
Okay. Where'd you come from?
From Wind Gap. PA.
From Wind Gap? Okay. All right. So you,
Yeah. So I was gonna take a walk, but I'm like, oh, I'm gonna take a little snooze and wait for it.
take a little snooze.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay. You got ID on you or anything like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you want?
I asked for your ID.
Yeah. What do you want?
Your ID.
Yeah, my
Your driver's license. Yep.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the doggy to get groomed.
Are you?
It's gonna be like 2 hours.
It's gonna be 2 hours.
Yeah,
Okay.
I figured, I'm not gonna drive all the way back to Wind Gap.
You're not gonna drive back to Wind Gap? You're not gonna drive back to Wind Gap?
No, because I figured I'm gonna wait here and just
Okay.
wait for him to get done. And I was gonna take a walk by the river, but I was like,
Yeah.
I'll just wait.
Okay. All right. Do you have the registration and the insurance in the vehicle?
Yeah.
Is this your vehicle?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, usually I read my book, because I have my book in here, too.
I'm sorry, what's that?
Usually I read my
hero
book.
Yeah.
fought their way
But,
to the top.
it's kind of stupid drive all the way back.
Yeah. Okay. Where you coming from again?
Wind Gap.
Wind Gap. And what are you doing here?
Getting the dog.
In the dog room.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Is your license valid and everything like that? Okay. It's not a good parking spot here. Kind of all over the place.
Well, why is it?
Well, here's the line, man, right here. And then you park sideways and you hit the fence.
Well, I didn't really hit the fence.
So you want to step out and take a look? By the way, do you have the insurance? Do you have the insurance to the vehicle? You gave me the registration.
Yeah, I don't know. I pulled in, puppy strapped me.
The puppy was what? Okay.
And no, I didn't think I was parked very
You want to take a look? You want to take a look? Can you do me a favor? Because I noticed that the keys are still on and the ignition's on.
Yeah.
Can you just take the keys out and put them up here? Put them right here. There you go. All right, you want to take a look?
Yeah.
Okay.
No problem. Yes, I figured I'll just rest a little bit. until
Just gonna rest?
Done.
You want to take a look?
You think I'm parked bad?
You're not parked properly, but you hit the. Yo, don't fall on me. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, because you almost just fell. Do you need medical or anything?
No, I'm
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
No, you just woke me up.
I just woke you up. Okay.
Yeah, because I was like snoozing a little
You were
bit.
snoozing? Okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. How much have you had to drink tonight?
Nothing. Nothing.
Okay. So I'm gonna
I
be.
don't drink.
You don't drink?
No.
You don't drink at all.
No, I don't drink at all.
Okay, so what's this smell that I was getting when you got out of the car?
My quest I don't know, but I don't drink at all.
You don't drink at all?
No.
Okay. All right.
No, I don't drink at all. You test me, I don't drink
Okay.
at all.
All right.
Yeah, I just pulled in, took the dog for
Yeah.
a walk, let him pee and poo, and then
Yeah.
that was it.
Do you have are you married or anything like that? Do you have a husband or boyfriend?
No, single.
Okay. All right. Do you have family around here?
In Wingap.
In Wingap?
Yeah, but
Okay.
I take him over here.
So you brought the dog here?
Yeah.
And you were going to take the dog back?
Yeah. no,
Okay,
take
all
the
right.
dog
I'm just
back.
curious.
And yeah, because a friend
All
recommended
the townsfolk
Scooby-Doo's
rejoice.
to me.
Scooby-Doo's?
Yeah, Scooby-Doo's.
Scooby-Doo's. Okay.
And yeah, I've been going to her. She's been great.
Okay, you didn't come here with anybody?
No.
Okay. All right, do you take any medications?
No, just
Okay. Okay. All right. When was the last time you had something to drink? You can be honest.
yeah, I'm honest.
March? Okay. What'd you have to drink?
Oh, I don't even know.
Okay.
I mean, I went to like a
Do me a favor, just take your hands out your pocket, okay? I'm not saying that, you have something in your pocket. It's officer safety, okay? I've had my run-ins with people in their pockets, okay?
No, pray for me. Because I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to go all the way back.
All the way to Wingap, right.
To
Right.
let the dog. So I'm like, all right. And I work night shift. I work at a hospital.
Do you? What do you do at the hospital?
Radiation therapy. Radiology and X-ray and mammography.
Okay.
I have like tons of degrees.
Okay, and you haven't had anything to drink today? No. Okay. Do you mind if I run you through some field sobriety exercises? Okay, all right. So I'm going to put this stuff in my car, and then we're going to run you through. We're going to step over there into the shade because the sun is so bright.
Yeah, this is freaking nuts.
What? What's nuts?
I don't know all this.
You don't know all this?
All
Okay.
this. All
Okay.
this is nuts. I'm just waiting
Okay.
for my dog.
Okay, all right. Just hold on one second, okay? Scotty from 2112. I'm going to have one after this.
Yeah, do you want to go in and talk to her? She knows I'm always went over here waiting for my dog.
Nope, you're okay. Well, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna run you through some field sobriety, okay? Because this is the thing, okay? Somebody came into my headquarters, all right, and stated that you went into Scooby-Doo's and that you were stumbling all over the place, okay?
Oh, I would never stumble.
Oh, okay, all right. So hear me out, okay? So what's happening, all right, is you were stumbling, okay, and then you did hit the fence, okay? So my job, okay, here, ma'am, listen, hear me out. Hear me out, okay?
Usually I'm too far from the, usually I'm too
Okay,
far.
so I said both things. So I said you hit the fence and you're not parked properly, okay? But that's irrelevant at the point right now, okay? So when I first came up to you, you were passed out and the keys are still in the ignition.
I'm not passed out.
Okay, all right, so hear me out.
I'm like, should I take a nap? Should I go for a walk
Okay.
by the river?
All right, so ma'am, listen. So I have detected the odor of an alcoholic beverage on you.
Trusted their
Okay.
leader, and that
This
gave
isn't
them
my first
strength.
rodeo, and I'm not here to sit here and tell you, okay, how many
I
times.
don't drink.
Okay, and that's perfectly fine. Okay, but I do feel at this time that you are presently under the influence of either alcohol or pills. Okay, all right. When you got out of the car, you started stumbling, and I even asked you, are you okay?
Well, yeah, because I was sleeping.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Your speech is also very slurred. Okay.
It's not.
Okay, all right, and that's fine. So at this point in time, I want to run you through some field sobriety tests, okay? All right.
tide of evil was pushed back for now. Not too small, not too big. This minion was just right. The minion departed for the adventure of returning home. The hero wore the crown, but others planned to take it from them. As old as time. The minion was thanked for their help and would forever be a friend. All for one and one for all, they chanted.
Again? Or is this the first time?
Cue the training montage. fearless all the time. Often extraordinary things are accomplished by ordinary minions.
Blood gems? What blood gems?
You can find friends in the most unusual places. And so, the hero vanquished their foe. What they lacked in size, they made up for in bravery.
Who knows what secrets will uncover?
All the townsfolk rejoiced. Perhaps you will learn something from this story. You can find friends in the most unusual places.
Come on down.
This recruit would go on to do great things. Not too small, not too big. This minion was just right. And then the frog transformed into a handsome prince. All the townsfolk rejoiced.
We're glad to have you here. You're part of the magic of this place.